Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Asad Yaqub welcomes you IELTS in few hours. Okay, because I'm not sure whether this video is going to be 4 hours, 5 hours, and all that, but this one video is more than enough for your IELTS preparation. If you know English and you want to understand the test pattern, even if your exam is tomorrow, this video is more than enough for you. Shortcut, okay, within 3 to 4 hours. And I'm not going to give you tips and techniques. Believe me, this video is not going to be a hollow video, right? Only tips, do this, do that. No, practical guideline. If I want to teach you how to operate computer, I'll say come and operate computer and I tell you how to do it. It's just like driving car. So I'm going to teach you IELTS the way car driving is taught. Okay, be ready for that. Now we are going to start with listening module and we are going to solve a listening test together. In this test, while solving the test, I will tell you number 1, how to read the question. Number 2, how to listen to the audio, what to anticipate in the audio. And number 3, how to write your answer. Okay, I'm doing it all on computer delivered IELTS because now computer delivered IELTS is everywhere. 80%, 90% candidates are taking IELTS on computer. Okay, so this is on our website asadyaqub.com. I want you to visit my website as well, and we're going to start with that. So let's get started with IELTS listening module. Okay, so for type, they commonly use the word kind, sort, right? What kind of work is it, right? So cleaning, dusting, receptionist, and all that. Now, please listen and answer question number 1, and you will type your answers and you're going to send them to me.
Good evening, King's Restaurant.
Good evening. I'm ringing about the job I understand you have vacant.
Oh, yes.
I'd like to find out a few more details, if I may.
Yes, of course. Can I take your name?
It's Peter Chin.
Okay, Peter. Well, if you want to ask about the job, and then if we're both still interested, we could arrange for you to come for an interview.
Great, thanks. I'm afraid I missed the advert for the job, but heard about it from a friend.
That's no problem at all. What would you like to know?
Well, what sort of work is it? Washing up?
It's answering the phone.
Oh, right, fine.
All right, what sort of job is it? Is it washing up? And the lady said it's answering the phone. Okay, I'm sorry, it's a long answer, but now it's only one word only. Okay, so correct answer is answering the phone or answering phone. Both are right. Answering the phone, or you may write answering phone. Both answers are correct. Okay, that's great, lovely, fantastic. All of you got the right answers, right? Abrar, you have typing mistake, and Salim, Minna, you have a typing mistake as well. I would say it's a typing mistake. Okay, answering the phone. Yes, Gulrab, that's right. Okay, fantastic. Now, audio will proceed. In the audio, they will talk about 12 hours. Then they will say would need work permit. They will talk about work permit. Then they will say work in the dash branch. So answer is going to be the name of branch. Sanagil, answering off phone is wrong. You're using wrong preposition there. Okay, that is why this answer is wrong. It's answering phone, answering the phone. That's it. Okay. So in dash branch, it can be anything. It can be city branch, it can be downtown branch, or anything like that. So let's see which branch is that.
And because I'm not an EU national, would I need a work permit?
Yes, you would. Just get your tutor to sign it.
That wouldn't be a problem if I were to get the job. Where exactly is the restaurant?
Well, we have 2 branches. The one we're recruiting for is in Hillsdon Road.
I don't know that. How do you spell it, please?
It's HILLSDUNNE Road.
Got that. Thanks.
Okay, hills done, road and branch is already written. Okay, come on, type your answers. You can use all capital. When you type your answer, you can use all small. Both ways, it's right. So they said hills done. HILLS, hills, and done. And another word is road. And you don't need to write branch because branch is already written. If you write hills done only, that's wrong because there is no road, it's incomplete, right? Some of you missed the spelling. Please listen again. In actual exam, they will not play the audio second time, but I'm doing it to teach you.
And because I'm not, where exactly is the restaurant?
Well, we have two branches. The one we're recruiting for is in Hillsdon Road.
I don't know that. How do you spell it, please?
It's HILLSDUNNE Road.
Got that. Thanks.
Okay, got that. Thanks. So those who've got the wrong spelling, your answer will be wrong. If you write only road, wrong. If you write only hills done, even then it is wrong. Now, nearest bus stop. Where is that nearest bus stop? They say next to dash. Now, answer will come after the synonym of next to. For next to, they can use, for example, answer is next to station. For that, they can say next to station, by the station, close to the station, just beside the station, anything like that. So answer will come after bus stop and after the synonym of next to. Let's see.
Is it near a bus stop?
Yes, the nearest one would probably be just beside the library.
Oh, yes, I know it. That'd be fine for me.
Okay, just beside means next to. So what is the answer? Good job. Correct answer is library. Library is the right answer. Lubna, you're not supposed to write article, the library. Okay, just write library. In IELTS listening and IELTS reading, do not write and, the, some, few. Okay, don't write that. Even without that, your answer will be correct. But with that, sometimes it may be wrong. Okay, yes. Now, what's the pay? They talk about salary, and pound sign is already given, so you should not bother yourself to write currency. Just write amount, and it's going to be number per hour. What is hourly rate? And they may confuse you by telling you two to three different rates. Last time it was this, now it is this. So the present is going to be the answer, and its amount, just use the digits to write your answer.
And could I ask about the pay?
We're offering £4.45 an hour.
That's very good. My last job was £3.95 an hour.
£4 45. Now £4 45 means 4.45. Alicia, 4.45. Whenever they say, for example, $10.80, $10.80 means $10.80. So it's 10.80. Okay, £9 20 means 9.20. Okay, so like this. So correct answer for this is 4.45. Now, if you write 4 comma 45, 4 dash 45, your answer will be wrong. Okay, that's great. Now, they offer some extra benefits. Let's see what are they. Free dinner. They'll give him dinner for free. Extra pay when you work on dash. Now, extra pay when you work on weekend, extra pay when you work on something like that. Okay, now when are they going to pay extra? Please listen and answer.
We feel it's pretty good, and we also offer some good fringe benefits.
Really?
Well, we give you a free dinner, so you eat well.
Right. Better than hostel food.
We certainly hope so. And we also offer extra pay for working on national holidays.
Oh, that's a really good perk, isn't it?
Extra pay
Yes, we
for
think so.
working on Muhammad Amin, it's going to be wrong. Actually, 4,45 means 445. Okay, so you need to write 4.45. That's it. That's great. So correct answer is national holiday. And you may write it all capital, all small, there is no problem. Right? National holidays is the right answer. Muhammad Salim, National Day is wrong answer. It's national holiday. That's it. They spoke plural holidays. So if you write national holiday, even then it is correct. Singular or plural, if it does not, what do you say, affect the verb, then it is fine. Otherwise, it's not fine. But national holiday or holidays, both are correct. Next, they talk about transport. Okay, transport home. They will give you conveyance for your home. When work on dash. So when work on what? When work means time. Which time you work, and they will give you conveyance, or they will drop you back home. Let's see.
And then, because of the difficulties of getting public transport, if you're working after 11 o'clock, we drive you home.
Oh, that's good to know.
All right. If you're working after 11 o'clock, we will drive you home. When you work after 11 o'clock. After 11 is also correct. After 11 or after 11 o'clock, both answers are correct. Okay, that is fine. Or you can write after 11 o'clock, right? Both are correct. All right. Yeah. So you can write time in any format. That's perfectly all right. Just 11 is after 11. When you work 11, that doesn't make any sense, Abrar. That doesn't make any sense. You need to write after 11. Okay. All right, let's get going. Next, and if you write o'clock, try to write o'clock like this, O and like this, o'clock. After O, there is this hyphen, there is this apostrophe, o'clock. But after 11 is perfectly fine, there's no problem. Qualities required. What kind of qualities do they need? So, question number 7, quality number 1. Question number 8, quality number 2. So, what's the first quality they need in that job candidate? Okay, let's see.
Well, we'd certainly be interested in inviting you for an interview if you're still interested.
Oh, yes, certainly. Could I just also ask what qualities you're looking for?
Well, for this particular job, we want a clear voice, which you obviously do have.
Thanks.
Okay, for this job, we need clear voice. Okay, Noora, our clear voice is not the right answer. Just write clear voice. Right? I told you to avoid articles like and, the, some, and all that. So, question number 7, correct answer is clear voice. Okay, it's voice, not wife, huh? Come on. Next, ability to dash. Now, ability to do what? Ability to dash. So let's see. Ability means you are able to, or anything like that, right? Let's see.
And you must be able to think quickly, you know.
Well, I hope I.
All right. You must be able to think quickly. What does that mean? Ability to think quickly. Only quickly is wrong. Okay. Yes, that's right. Now let's get going. Interview arranged for. So when is the interview? Interview arranged for what? Thursday. All right. At 6 p.m. Now what is missing? Date is missing. Exactly. Thursday, 11th February at 6 p.m. 11 February. You can write date in any format. 11th February, February 11th, 11th February, February 11th, and all that. Okay. So please listen and answer.
So, when could you come in for an interview? We're actually quite quiet tonight.
Sorry, I couldn't come tonight or tomorrow, I'm afraid. Thursday's okay. That'd be 22nd of October?
Fine. After 5 p.m.?
Yes, fine. Would 6 o'clock be okay?
Perfect. And could you bring along the names of 2 referees?
Okay. Thursday, 22nd October. So you may write 22nd with ND and then another word October. Or if you want to write without ND 27 October, even then your answer is correct. Okay, so correct answer is 22nd, Gulrab. It's not 21. Gulrab, please focus again.
Quite quiet tonight.
Thursday's okay. That'd be 22nd of October?
Fine.
That will be 22nd of October. 22nd of October is also correct. October 22nd, 27 October, right? Yes, Lubna, you can use short form of October, OCT as well. They accept that also, okay? All right, then they say bring the names of 2 referees. They mentioned that already. And ask for home, Samira Dash, okay? Her last name is missing, and that last name is going to be the answer. If it is unusual, they will spell it for you. If it is normal English name, they're not going to spell it for you, okay? Please listen and answer question number 10.
Good. I look forward to seeing you.
Oh, by the way, who should I ask for?
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. My name is Samira Manuja.
Can you spell that, please?
Manuja.
Okay. I've got that.
All
Thanks very
right.
much.
She
Look
said
forward to seeing you later on then.
Samira Manuja. Okay, Manuja. Alexandra. She said Samira Manuja. Manuja. Okay, yes, that's right. It's with the J. She spelled it for us. Okay, not with G. So correct answer is Manuja. What a nice name, huh? So Now this is please. the end of IELTS listening part 1, and if your desired band is 7, 8 or 9, try to get 10 by 10 here in this part. Now we are going to move on to IELTS listening part 2. There's going to be an audio commentary, and this part is going to be a little more difficult than part 1, but be ready. Let's get started. A new dash of an international sports good company. A new what? A new outlet, a new office, a new branch, a new something. Now listen to me carefully. Let me give you this technique. Answer will come after the synonym of a new. Okay? And it is going to be, can you see them now, Anita? Can you see them now? Anita, you have increased the size of your screen. If you decrease the size of your screen, you can see everything. Yes, they still give maps also, Alicia. Why not? Now, answer will come after the synonym of a new. And it can be new, another, one more, brand new, or anything like that. So let's see what is going to be new. Okay. Please listen and answer question number 11.
Now we go to Jane, who is going to tell us about what's happening in town this weekend.
Right, thanks, Andrew. And now on to what's new. And do we really need yet another sports shop in Bradcaster? Well, most of you probably know Sports World, the branch of a Danish sports goods company that opened a few years ago. It's attracted a lot of custom, and so the company has now decided to open another branch in the area.
The company has now decided to open another dash in the area. Good. Well done. Amazing. See that? One word and or a number is not very complicated. So correct answer is branch. And we've written branch here. Well done, guys. That's lovely. Let's get going. Next they say located in the shopping center to the dash of Bradcaster. To the dash means the location, right? It is the part of Bradcaster, to the middle of Bradcaster, to the north of Breadcaster, south of Breadcaster, and all that. Now, located in the shopping center. Now, what is the location of this new branch? If they say we already have a branch, that will not be the answer, because already is not new. But if they say we are planning to open a new branch to the dash of Breadcaster, that will be the answer. Okay. Now, please listen, focus, and answer.
It's going to be in the shopping centre to the west of Bradcaster. So that will be good news for all of you who found the original shop in the north of the town hard to get to.
Okay, original shop in the north, right? So that's not the answer. This is going to be in the west of Breadcaster. North is just a trap. All right, west is written here. Now we get going. You can use all capital, all small. There is no problem at all. Answers are not case sensitive. Next, they say has sports dash and equipment on floors 1 to 3. They have two things on floors. Floor is level, right? First floor, second floor, third floor. They have sports equipment, and before sports equipment they will tell us something, and that is the answer. So please listen.
I was invited to a special preview, and I can promise you, this is the ultimate in sports retailing. The whole place has been given a new minimalist look with the company's signature colours of black and red. The first 3 floors have a huge range of sports clothing as well as equipment. And on the top floor, there's a cafe and a book and DVD section.
Okay, cafe, book, and DVD section is on the top floor. That was a trap. Okay, so first 3 floors, they have sports clothing and equipment. Well done. Aisha, answer is not retailing. Answer is clothing. Okay, yes, that's right. A clothing singular, Nura, not plural. If you write clothings, that is wrong because there is no word like clothings. Clothing is the right answer. Okay, all right, let's get going. Next, they say can get you any item within dash days. Now, for example, if something is not available, they can get you that within 5 days, within 7 days, within 3 days. So number of days will be the answer. And by the way, 14 is question number. Okay, you cannot say sir, answer is already written 14 days. 14 is question number. Okay, now please listen and answer question number 14.
You'll find all the well-known names, as well as some less well-known ones. If they haven't got exactly what you want in stock, they promise to get it for you in 10 days, unlike the other store, where it can take up to 14 days.
Okay, other stores take up to 14 days. Other stores, right? But they are going to take 10 days. Well done. So whenever there is a number, Noora and Shaista, try to use digits for that. Because if the number is long and it's one word only, your answer will be wrong. For example, if answer is 10,000, if answer is 10 million, so if you write 10 million, so answer will be wrong. Okay, so correct answer is 10, this one. But for small numbers, you can write TEN 10 as well, which is not wrong. Your answers are correct. Okay, yes. Next, they say shop specializes. Now, what is it that the shop specializes in? Equipment for dash. So equipment for dash means it can be the game. Equipment for football, equipment for hockey. And for specializes, they may use the word particularly focus. We particularly focus, right? Equipment for hockey, anything like that. So please listen and answer.
They cover all the major sports, including football, tennis, and swimming. But they particularly focus on running, and they claim to have the widest range of equipment in the country.
Okay, they particularly focus on. Good. Correct answer is running, and there is a technical mistake. Running is with double N. RUNNING. Okay, Alexandru, you've written running with single N. So if it is with single N, it means it's the wrong spelling. Shansa, same goes for you. Right? Running, running. Okay? So it's double N. RUNNING. Like begin, beginning with double N. Okay, let's get going. Has a special section. They have a special section which just sells dash. Now, what is it that they sell in their special section? If they say special section which just sells, if they say we have a section which is devoted to football, for example, we have a special section which is devoted to means which just sells. Okay, now please listen and answer.
As well as that, a whole section of the third floor is devoted to sports bags, including the latest designs from the States. If you can't find what you want here, it doesn't exist.
Okay, which is devoted to sports bags. Now, if you write sports bags, you are writing two words, and instructions are very clear, one word and or a number. Okay, so if you write sports bags, your answer will be wrong because it's one word and or a number. So correct answer is bags. Okay, that's fantastic. Now we get going. Questions 17 to 18. Now the real party is going to start with multiple choice questions. And part 3 has 10 multiple choice questions. That is why I chose this test for you guys. Okay. So choose the correct letter A, B, or C. It means it is single multiple choice question, right? Now they say champion athlete will be in the shop. All right. Champion athlete, like maybe a famous cricketer, right? And all that. A champion athlete will be in the shop when? Saturday morning, okay, all day Saturday, right? Or for the whole weekend. Whole weekend means Saturday and Sunday. So what is the availability of champion athlete in their shop? If it is just Saturday morning, A. If it is all day Saturday, B. If it is Saturday and Sunday, then it is C. So please listen and answer.
The shop will be open from 9 a.m. this Saturday, and if you go along to the opening, then you'll have the chance to meet the national 400 meters running champion, Paul King, who's coming along to open the shop. And he will be staying around until about midday to chat to any fans who want to meet him and sign autographs.
He will be staying around until about midday. Until about midday. Saturday. Until about midday. Until about midday is not all Saturday. When they say Saturday, C is gone. When they say Saturday, until midday means Saturday morning only, because midday finishes at 12. Okay, at 12 p.m. So correct answer is option A. Please listen again.
The shop will be open from 9 a.m. this Saturday, and if you go along to the opening, then you'll have the chance to meet the national 400 meters running champion, Paul King, who's coming along to open the shop. And he will be staying around until about midday to chat to any fans who want to meet him and sign autographs.
Okay, now we go on. The first person to answer 20 quiz questions correctly, what is the prize, will win. What is it that the person will win? First person. Okay, 20 quiz on questions correctly. They may tell you 15 correct answers, 10 correct answers. That is not your answer. Your answer is the person who answers 20 questions correctly. What is for him? Do they offer him gym membership? Or do they offer him a video? Or do they offer him a calendar? So what do they offer him? Please listen and answer.
Then there will be a whole range of special attractions all weekend. There will be free tickets for local sporting events for the first 50 customers, and also a special competition open to all. Just answer 15 out of 20 sports questions correctly to win a signed copy of Paul King's DVD Spring Tips, while the first person to get all the questions correct gets a year's free membership of the Broadcaster Gym.
Okay, first person to get all the answers correct will get 1 year membership of the gym. Okay, she said 15 out of 20 will get a video. So correct answer for question number 18 is option A, gym membership. Okay. All right, now we go on and we have a double multiple choice question. In double multiple choice question, out of 5 options, you have to choose 2 options. Questions 19 and 20. Choose 2 letters A to E. Which 2 pieces of information does the speaker give about fitness test? Now they have a fitness test and 5 pieces of information are available. According to the audio, 3 pieces of information are wrong or they may not be discussed. Okay, you have to separate them. Now, reserve a place. If you need to reserve, A will be the right answer. If you can walk in any time, walk in any time means you don't need reservation. For reserve a place, they may use the word appointment, book in advance, and all that. Next option B, it is free to account holders. Now, if it is without any charge for account holders, B is the right answer. And if they say we offer 20% discount for account holders, then B will not be the right answer. Okay. Now, let's get going. You get advice on how to improve your health. So you will get advice. They will guide you, right? What should you do to improve your health? So if they're going to guide you, then it is the right answer. And if they will not give you any type of advice here, then it is not that. It takes place. Takes place means location. Now, if the location is a special clinic, D will be the right answer. And if they say it will be held in our own campus, it will be held in our own premises, then D will not be the right answer. Cheaper this month. If they say this month we are offering 30% discount. If they say for this month only we offer 50% discount. What does that mean? It is cheaper this month. Okay. Now I play the audio. All 5 options may be discussed, but they will be discussed in any order. Okay. And you have to eliminate 3 options and select 2 of them. Okay. Let's get started.
All entrants will receive a special sports calendar with details of all Broadcaster fixtures in the coming year. One of the special opening offers is a fitness test, a complete review of your cardiac fitness and muscle tone, actually done in the shop by qualified staff. This would normally cost £30, but is available at half price for this month only. There are only a limited number of places available for this, so to make a booking, phone 560 341. In addition, if you open an account, you get lots more special offers, including the chance to try out equipment at special open evenings.
Okay, she said for booking, call da 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 da. It means you need to reserve a place, right? And she said this month it's half the price. This month it's half the price. It means cheaper this month. Okay, so correct answers are options A and E. All right, it's good. Now, those who've written other options, please follow me and I tell you why A and E are correct and other options are incorrect.
All entrants will receive a special sports calendar with details of all Broadcaster fixtures in the coming year. One of the special opening offers is a fitness test, a complete review of your cardiac fitness and muscle tone, actually done in the shop by qualified staff.
Actually done in the shop by qualified staff. So option D is not the right answer because fitness test is done in the shop by qualified staff. D says takes place in a special clinic. She said no special clinic, in the shop by qualified staff. Okay. So D is wrong answer and you need to eliminate that.
This would normally cost £30, but is available at half price for this.
Okay, this normally costs £30 but is available at half price for this month only. What is that? That is, it is cheaper this month. Option E. Okay, that is the first correct answer.
Month only. There are only a limited number of places available for this, so to make a booking, phone 56.
Okay, there are only a few places available, so make a booking. Make a booking means reserve a place. That is the right answer. Okay.
0341. In addition, if you open an account, you get lots more special offers.
Okay, if you open an account, you get lots more special offers. But she did not say it is free to account holders. Okay, that is why B is not the right answer. That is the end of IELTS listening part 2. Okay, I told you audio commentary and all that. But anyways, focus and do comment the number of answers which are correct in parts 1 and part 2. Now we move on to IELTS listening part 3 and I call this part dinosaur of IELTS listening. There are many multiple choice questions here and this part is the trickiest part in IELTS. But don't worry, I'm going to give you tips and techniques which will help you get 10 by 10 in IELTS listening part 3. Let's get started. Okay, now what is the title? This is part 3, 10 questions. Questions 21 to 30. And this is all about course feedback. Okay. One reason why Spiros felt happy about his marketing presentation. So why Spiros? Spiros is the name, all capital letter. Okay. So why Spiros felt happy about his marketing presentation? He is happy because he was not nervous. But if he says, I was still nervous, okay, then it is not going to be the right answer. Is he happy because his style was good? Because of his style? And if he's happy that his presentation was the best in his group. So what is the reason for his happiness? Not nervousness, style was good, or the best presentation. Now, please listen carefully and see where Spiros says, I was very happy because of this thing. Okay, let's see.
Two overseas students called Spiros and Hiroko have just finished the first semester of their university course. They are discussing with their English language teacher how they coped with the course.
Before we start, Spiros and Hiroko, thanks for coming in today to talk about your recent study experiences, and congratulations to you both in doing so well in your first semester exams.
Thank you.
I'd like to discuss with you the value of the English for Academic Purposes course you did here last year before starting your university course. Spiros, if I could start with you, what parts of the program have now proved to be particularly valuable to you?
I think that having to do a seminar presentation really helped me. For example, a couple of weeks ago in our marketing subject, when it was my turn to give a presentation, I felt quite confident. Of course, I was still nervous, but because I had done one before, I knew what to expect. Also, I know I was well prepared, and I had practiced my timing. In fact, I think that in relation to some of the other people in my group, I did quite a good job, because my overall style was quite professional.
Okay. Well, is the answer A, B, or C? Finally, he said, because my overall style was quite professional. He said, in comparison with some of other groups, my performance was better. Okay. He said, I was still nervous, Abrar. Don't worry. Okay, guys, I'm going to tell you why two options are wrong. In multiple choice questions, unless you know why two options are wrong, you can never find the right answer. Okay, so for question number 21, correct answer is option B. Now, let's play the audio again and we see why A and C are wrong.
Two overseas.
Thank you.
I'd like to discuss with you the value of the English for academic purposes of the program have now proved to be particular.
Our marketing subject, when it was my turn to give a presentation, I felt quite confident. Of course, I was still nervous, but
I felt quite confident, although I was still nervous. Option A, not nervous. He says I was still nervous. Okay, Shaista. So he's saying I was nervous. So I was nervous is the opposite of not nervous. That is why A is the wrong answer. Abrar, focus now.
because I had done one before, I knew what to expect. Also, I know I was well prepared, and I had practiced my timing. In fact, I think that in relation to some of the other people in my group, I did quite a good job.
In relation to some of the other people in my group, I did quite a good job. He didn't say the best, it was better. Okay, in relation to some of the other people in my group, I did a good job. So it was not the best, it was better. Okay, so C is also wrong answer. Salim and Ikra, now you realize why C is wrong, huh? Good. Now, what does he say?
Because my overall style was quite professional.
My overall style was quite professional. Professional means good. So B is the right answer for that. Okay, now we have question number 22. What surprised Hiroko? Now, something surprised Hiroko about other students' presentation. Okay, so not interesting. Their presentations were boring. If this thing surprised Hiroko, A will be the right answer. If she said their presentations were interesting, then A is not the right answer. Stressful. If their presentations were stressful, full of stress, then B will be the right answer. Okay. And if they didn't look at the audience means they didn't make eye contact. And that is surprising. Out of three things, Hiroko will be surprised at one option, not all three options. So where Hiroko is going to be surprised, that will be the right answer. Okay. Now please listen and answer question number 22.
What about you, Hiroko?
That's interesting. In my group, I was really surprised by the way the students did their presentations. They just read their notes aloud. Can you believe that? They didn't worry about their presentation style or keeping eye contact with their audience. And I remember that these things were really stressed to us in the course here.
Okay, they read their notes. They didn't look at the audience. And these things were stressed to us in the course. Now, stress means to emphasize. So, B is not the answer. These things were stressed to us in the course. Which things? Body language. Okay. Yes, Rukaiya, correct answer is C. Well done. Good job. If you find any part difficult, you can repeat after the class. I will share this recording with you. Okay. And this is the difficult part, no doubt. Next, after she gave her presentation, Hiroko felt. So after presentation, how did she feel? Okay, if she felt delighted, A will be the right answer. If she felt dissatisfied, B will be the right answer. And if she felt embarrassed, oh my God, then C will be the right answer. So, how did she feel after her presentation? If she says, before my presentation, I was quite delighted, that is not your answer. If she says, during my presentation, I was quite dissatisfied, that is not your answer. And if she says, after my presentation, I was quite embarrassed, That is your answer. So if they say anything during, before, that is not the answer. Okay, please now listen and answer.
So, how did you approach your presentation, Hiroko?
Well, to speak frankly, I read my notes too. At the time, it was a relief to do it this way, but actually, when I had finished, I didn't feel any real sense of satisfaction. I didn't feel positive about the experience at all.
I didn't feel any sense of satisfaction. Good job. Lovely. Fantastic. Ikra, come on. She says, I didn't feel any sense of satisfaction after my presentation. What does that mean? That means dissatisfied. Okay. So, correct answer is B. Very nice participation, guys. Keep it up. Fantastic. Next, how does Spiros feel after his performance in tutorials? Right? Now, tutorials are short lessons with your tutor, right? Where there are 4, 5 participants and all that. So, how does Spiros feel about his performance in tutorials? Not very happy. Not very happy is sad. Really pleased means very happy, delighted, and all that. Fairly confident means quite confident. So, is he unhappy? Is he really happy? Or is he confident? How does he feel? About what? About his performance in tutorials.
That's a pity. You know, although I was pleased with my presentation, I am not so pleased with my actual performance right now in the tutorials. During the whole semester, I've not said anything in our tutorial discussions. Not a word.
Really, Spiros?
So, how is he? Not so pleased. Not so pleased means not very happy. Okay? For very, they use the word so. For happy, they use the word pleased. So, correct answer is A.
That's a pity. You know, although I was pleased with my presentation, I am not so pleased with my actual performance right now in the tutorials. During the whole semester, I've not said anything in our tutorial discussions. Not a word.
Really, Spiros?
Okay. All right. He hasn't said a word, so that's why he's not happy. Now, let's get going. Why can other students, okay, let's get going. Why can other students participate so easily in discussion? Right? Why students can participate easily in discussion? Because they are polite to each other, because of their politeness, they can participate easily in discussion, or they agree to take turns in speaking. Agree to take turns means, first of all, I will talk, next you talk. After that, for example, first Anita will talk, then Gurlab will talk, and finally Shaili is going to say something, for example. So they agree to take turns. Take turn is my turn first, your turn second, and all that. Or they know each other well, right? So what is the reason that other students participate so easily? Because of politeness, agree to take turns, or they know each other.
Why is that? Do the other students talk too much?
It's partly that, but it's mostly because I have had no confidence to speak out. Their style of speaking is so different. It's not the style we were used to during the course. They use so many colloquialisms. They're not very polite, and sometimes there seems to be no order in their discussion. Also, they are very familiar with each other, so because they know each other's habits, they can let each other into the discussion.
You're right, Spiros.
Okay, they are familiar with each other. They know each other's habits. Pretty clear, Alexandru. They know each other. They know each other's habits. So, correct answer, Fayaz. Exactly. That's not the right one. Alexandru, your answer is correct. So C is the right answer. Here we are. Okay, again, I tell you, if you feel this part is difficult, yes, it is difficult. Okay, so it's not your personal difficulty, it is actually difficult. Why is Hiroko feeling more positive about tutorials now? So, why is he more positive about tutorials? Because of other students' opinion more interesting? I mean, interesting opinions, right? If she's making part of in it, more of a contribution. Now Spiros is taking part, or he's speaking actively, right? Or if tutor includes her in discussion, if tutor says, Hiroko, come on, now you can talk and all that stuff. So why Hiroko is feeling positive? What is the reason? Is he feeling positive? Option A, because other students' opinions are interesting. Option B, because he is participating more. Option C, tutor includes her in discussion. So please now listen and answer.
For most of this semester, I've said absolutely nothing in tutorials. But recently, I've been trying to speak up more, and I just jump in. And I've noticed an interesting thing. I've noticed that if they thought my point was interesting or new, then the next time they actually asked for my opinion. And then it was much easier for me to be part of the discussion.
Oh, that's great, Hiroko. I hope that happens for me next semester.
A, B, or C? Come on, type your answers. In either case, I'll tell you what is the right answer and why is that the right answer. Okay? All right. Question number 26. Correct answer is option B. Okay? Some of you written A, some of you written C. Now, I tell you why they are wrong. Okay? Please follow me.
For most of this semester, I've said absolutely nothing in tutorials.
Okay, for most of the semester, I said absolutely nothing in the tutorials.
But recently, I've been trying to speak up more.
Recently, I've been trying to speak up more. What is that? Making more of a contribution. Trying to speak up more means contribution. Okay, that is B.
And I just jump in. And I've noticed an interesting thing.
I just jump in and I've noticed one interesting thing. Opinions more interesting? No. Right? She says, I've noticed one interesting thing. Now, it doesn't mean interesting option A, huh? No, it's not that.
I've noticed that if they thought my point was interesting or new,
Okay, if my point was interesting on you, she finds other students' opinions more interesting. She did not say that. She says, if my point is interesting,
then the next time they actually asked for my opinion.
the next time they asked for my opinion.
And then it was much easier for me to be part of the discussion.
Okay, it was much easier for me to be the part of discussion. Tutor includes her in the discussion? No. So what are they doing? They are only using the word discussion. And some of you thought discussion option C. They use the word interesting. You said interesting. Good. A. All right. This is how they cheat you. Right. So you should know how to eliminate the wrong options. Only then you will get the right answer. All right, now let's get going. Next question number 27. To help her understand lectures, okay. Hiroko, what does Hiroko do to help her understand lectures? Consulted materials, reference materials, right? Extra tutorials with the lecturer or borrowed lecture notes. So what did Hiroko do to help her understand the lectures? If she consulted extra material, it's A. If she had extra tutorials with her lecturer, then B, right? And borrowed lecture notes, then it is C. Okay, please listen and answer.
I'll have to work hard to find some interesting points. What helped you to find these ideas?
I think that one thing that helped me with this was the reading. I've had to do so much reading this semester just to help me make sense of the lectures. At first, I couldn't understand what the lectures were talking about, so I had to turn to the books and journals. Every night I read for hours, using the lists of references that were given, and I made pages of notes. At breakfast, I read and read my notes again. This habit has helped me to follow the ideas in the lectures, and it's also given me some ideas to use in the tutorials.
Okay, she said, I had to turn to books. I had to turn to books, that is consulted reference materials. Exactly. Okay, and she did not borrow lecture notes, she read her own notes. Okay, C is wrong because she actually had her own notes. And extra tutorials, no. So question number 27, correct answer is A. Please listen again. In actual exam, they will not play the audio one by one the way I'm playing. In actual exam, they will not repeat the audio. Okay, keep that in mind.
I'll have to work hard to find some interesting points. What helped you to find these ideas?
I think that one thing that helped me with this was the reading. I've had to do so much reading this semester just to help me make sense of the lectures.
Okay, I had to do a lot of reading just to make sense of the lectures.
At first, I
Okay, extra tutorial with her lecturers? No.
couldn't understand what the lectures were talking about.
I couldn't understand what the lecturers were talking about.
So I had to turn to the books and journals.
Books and journals, they are reference material. Turn to is consulted. I had to turn to books and journals. JOUR. Okay.
Every night I read for hours, using the lists of references that were given,
Using the lists of references that were given.
and I made pages of notes.
I made pages of notes. Borrowed notes? No. She made notes on her own. Okay. That's it. Now, let's get going. This test is so good. There are 10 multiple choice questions in listening part 3. And this may happen with you in actual exam. That is why prepare yourself. And how to prepare? One listening test a day with me from the website every day for the next 30 days. Right? Then you will understand everything. What does Spiros think of his reading skills? What does he think of his reading skills? Okay, does he read faster than he used to? Means he has increased his reading speed. That is A. It still takes him a long time to read. Long time to read means he reads slowly, right? Or he struggles with new vocabulary. So what does he say about his reading skill? Is his reading skill improved? Now he reads faster. That is A. If he's a slow reader, that is B. And if he does not understand what he reads and struggling with new words, then it is C. Okay, let's see.
But I did so much reading anyway. I don't think there's any time left over for anything extra. My reading speed is still quite slow, though I'm much better at dealing with vocabulary than I used to be.
What else do you think we could add to the course program to help with this reading problem?
There's not really anything because it's my problem. I remember we were given long articles to read. We didn't like that, but now I realize that reading those long articles was good preparation for the things I need to read now. Also, in class, we regularly had speed reading tasks to do, and we kept a record of our reading speed, so the teachers were encouraging us to work on that.
That's true, Spiros.
So he says my reading speed is slow. Okay, then he discusses options A and C as suggestions. So question number 28, correct answer is option B. Okay, that's right. Please now listen once again to make sure why A and C are wrong.
But I did so much reading anyway. I don't think there's any time left over for anything extra.
I've done so much reading.
My reading speed is still quite slow.
My reading speed is still quite slow. Option A, gone. Because option A is he reads faster. But he is saying my reading speed is still quite slow. Okay?
though I'm much better at dealing with vocabulary than I used to be.
Okay, I'm much better at dealing with vocabulary than I used to be. And option C says struggle with new vocabulary, but he's saying I'm much better. So when you eliminate A and C, definitely B will be the right answer.
What else do you think we could add to the course program to help with this reading problem?
Okay, so when A is wrong, most definitely B is the right answer, right?
There's not really anything because it's my problem. I remember we were given long articles to read. We didn't like that, but now I realize that reading those long articles was good preparation for the things I need to read now. Also, in class, we regularly had speed reading tasks to do, and we kept a record of our reading speed. So the teachers were encouraging us to work on that.
That's not
That's
related.
true, Spiros.
That's not related, okay? It still takes him a long time to read, okay? All right, now let's get going. Question number 29. What is Hirooko's subject area? Okay, what is he studying? Environmental studies, health and education, that is B, health education, or engineering. So what is Hiroko studying?
But what we read could have been different. Sometimes in the English class, I felt frustrated when I had to read articles about the environment or health or education because I wanted to concentrate on my own field, but we didn't read anything about engineering. So I think I wasted some time learning vocabulary I didn't need.
Good job. Excellent, guys. Amazing, huh? This time you've got the right answers. Minna, I'll repeat it for you. Correct answer is engineering. Let's see why.
But what we read could have been different. Sometimes in the English class, I felt frustrated when I had to read articles about the environment or health or education.
In English class, she had to read articles about environment, health, education in English class.
Because I wanted to concentrate on my own field, but we didn't read anything about engineering.
I wanted to concentrate on my own field and we didn't read anything about engineering. So what was her own field? Engineering. Right? In English class, she read articles about environment and health education and all that. So this is how they actually check your ability to understand English. Okay, Minna? That's great. Now we go on. Hiroko thinks you must want to beat Hiroko and the other one. Hiroko thinks that in the reading classes, the students should, what is it that students should do? Learn more vocabulary. So if they need to do more vocabulary, A is the right answer. Read more in their own subject areas. So read more and own subject areas. Like if they are from engineering, they need to read about engineering. Okay, or they need to develop better reading strategies. So what is it that Hiroko is suggesting? Okay,
But surely the strategies you were taught for dealing with that vocabulary were helpful?
Yes, but psychologically speaking, I would have felt much better working on reading from my own field. What do you think, Spiros?
Oh, I agree. That would have helped my confidence too, and I would have been more motivated. It was good, though, that we could work on our own topics when we wrote the research assignments.
Okay, let's move on to writing now.
all right, get lost, huh? Let's move on to writing now. They bothered you a lot, huh? I'm so sorry about it. So question number 30, correct answer is B for buffalo. Exactly. Now I tell you why B is right and A and C are wrong. Alexandru, come on, be with me and I'll clarify this.
But surely the strategies you were taught for dealing with that vocabulary were helpful?
The strategies you were taught to deal with that vocabulary, they were helpful. Okay, let's see. That is option A, learn more vocabulary. He's not talking about learning more vocabulary. He's talking about strategies to deal with vocabulary. They were helpful.
Yes, but psychologically speaking, I would have felt much better working on reading from my own field.
Okay, I would have felt much better reading for my own field. Read more in their own subject area. Reading for my own field. Field means subject areas. Exactly, Alicia. Well done. Okay, exactly. And I'm telling you, repetition is the mother of learning. Okay, guys, when they say that is the end of IELTS listening part 3, then you say, I told you listening part 3 is just like this. Now, if you want to get better bench score, you need to work on listening skills. And by the way, on our website, asadyaqub.com, we have a digital book on IELTS listening, digital book on IELTS reading, and these books contain more than 50 listening solve tests and listening practice tests. Reading solve tests and reading practice tests. You can just take help from the website as well. Now, finally, we have IELTS listening part 4. Part 4 is a lecture where one person talks, and the most common question type is one word and or a number. If you lose your marks in listening part 3, you have another opportunity to get 10 by 10 in listening part 4, because part 1 and part 4, they are similar. How similar? In part 1 we have one word only, and part 4 also one word and or a number. Let's get started. Target is 10 by 10, okay? And you may comment your answers as well. Mass strandings of whales and dolphins, okay? Now, if you don't know what mass stranding is, don't worry. They will tell you. See, it's written, mass stranding. What is that? Situations where groups of whales, dolphins, etc. swim onto the beach and die. Okay, so what is it? Mass stranding. Like whales and dolphins, they swim and by mistake they come on the beach and then they do not go back and they die, right? This is what they call mass stranding on the beach. Now we get going. Common in areas where the dash can change quickly. Now what can change quickly? Common in areas. What is common in areas? Mass trending. Mass trending is common in areas where something can change quickly. Now listen carefully. For can change quickly, they use the word goes out suddenly. Right? For common, listen to me and note it down. For common, they use the word frequent. Right? In areas, for areas, they can use the word locations. Right? Areas, locations where something can change quickly. Can change quickly means goes out suddenly. So please listen and answer.
You will hear part of a lecture about a problem related to the behaviour of certain sea creatures.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, with some of you about to go out on field work, it's timely that in this afternoon's session I'll be sharing some ideas about the reasons why groups of whales and dolphins sometimes swim ashore from the sea right onto the beach and, most often, die in what are known as mass strandings. Unfortunately, this type of event is a frequent occurrence in some of the locations that you'll be travelling to, where sometimes the tide goes out suddenly, confusing the animals. However, there are many other theories about the causes of mass strandings.
Okay, dash goes out suddenly, confusing the animals. Goes out suddenly. Goes out means changes suddenly. So correct answer is tide. He used tide, but you may write tide singular or tides plural. Both are correct. Okay, tide or tides. Tide, they are just the waves. You know, when the current, ocean current, they go in a direction, so we call it tide, or you may call it flow. Now let's get going. Several other theories. Now what are the theories about mass trending? One theory is parasites. For example, some parasites can affect marine animals dash. Marine animal means fish, and we are dealing with whales and dolphins. Yeah, whales and dolphins. So some parasites can affect something related to whale and dolphin, which they depend on for navigation. Now, parasites affect something of whales and whales and dolphins depend on that for navigation. You know navigation clearly, huh? Google Maps. So please listen.
The first is that the behavior is linked to parasites. It's often found that stranded animals were infested with large numbers of parasites. For instance, a type of worm is commonly found in the ears of dead whales. Since marine animals rely heavily on their hearing to navigate, this type of infestation has the potential to be very harmful.
All right, they rely on their hearing for navigation. Exactly. Hearing, ears, fantastic. All are correct answers. Good job, but you will write any one of them. You may write ear, that is right. You may write ears, that is right. Or you may write hearing, even that is the correct answer. Okay, good job. Now we get going. Next, they talk about toxins. Okay, poisons from dash are commonly consumed by whales. Poisons from where? Poisons from somewhere are commonly consumed by whales. So where do these poisons come from? Okay, the source of these poisons will be the right answer. Let's see.
Another theory is related to toxins or poisons. These have also been found to contribute to the death of many marine animals. Many toxins, as I'm sure you're aware, originate from plants or animals. The whale ingests
Okay, many toxins originate from plants or animals. Now, simply you can write plants, animals. That's it. Okay, it's single question, plants, animals. Or even if it is no more than two words, yes, it's no more than two words. So if you write or, your answer is likely to be wrong. Okay, so simply write plants, animals. Like I have written plants, animals. Okay, only plants will be wrong. You'll have to write both words. You should not write any punctuation mark in your answers in IELTS listening and reading, Lubna. So yeah, avoid comma, full stop, like that. Okay, unless you are writing point 2.3, 4.5, and all that. Okay, let's get going. Next, they talk about accidental strandings. Okay, then they talk about Thurston 1995. So we highlighted it. This is called signposting so that we know where the audio is. Unlikely because, why is it unlikely? Because the majority of animals were not dash. Now, there was accidental stranding. It was unlikely because the majority of animals were not dash when they stranded. Now, they were not in a condition when they stranded. So, which condition was that? For that, they will say they were not and something, or they had not been. They had not been means they were not. For example, they were not sleeping. They had not been sleeping. Okay, same thing.
Alternatively, it has also been suggested that some animals strand accidentally by following their prey ashore in the confusion of the chase. In 1995, David Thurston monitored pilot whales that beached after following squid ashore. However, this idea does not seem to hold true for the majority of mass strandings because examination of the animal's stomach contents revealed that most had not been feeding as they stranded.
Most had not been dash as they stranded. As they stranded means when they stranded. Most had not been. Most means majority of animals. Had not been means were not. Okay? So correct answer is feeding. Okay, that's lovely. Next, they talk about human activity. Dash from military. Now, something from military tests. are linked to some recent trending, something from military tests. So what is it? Pollution from military test or something like that which comes from military test, right? Let's see what it is. And for that, dash, for example, answer is pollution from military tests. In the audio, they may say pollution caused by military tests. Pollution caused by is the synonym of from.
There are also some new theories which link strandings to humans. A growing concern is that loud noises in the ocean cause strandings. Noises such as those caused by military exercises are of particular concern.
Okay, noises such as caused by military exercises. So answer is noises. Shyly, I mentioned stranding is when whales and dolphins, they come on the beach and then they are unable to go back to the sea. This is called stranding. Okay. So question number 35, correct answer is noise. Yeah, noise is the right answer. You cannot write large noise because large is adjective. You don't need to. You may write noise, noises, okay, from military tests and all that. All right, next they talk about Bahamas 2000, and there was that trending was unusual because the whales were all dash. The whales were all what? Okay, what is it that they were doing when they stranded? Whales were all something. So related to whales, they were all what?
One of these, a mass stranding of whales in 2000 in the Bahamas, coincided closely with experiments using a new submarine detection system. There were several factors that made this stranding stand out as different from previous strandings. This led researchers to look for a new cause. For one, all the stranded animals were healthy.
All the stranded animals were healthy. Exactly. All the stranded animals were healthy. All the stranded animals were healthy. Okay, that's lovely. They were not in a dash. Now, the animals were healthy and they were not in a dash. Now, not in a what? Please listen.
In addition, the animals were spread out along 38 kilometers of coast, whereas it's more common for the animals to be found in a group when mass strandings occur.
So, what does it mean? They were spread out, means they were not in a group. They were spread out. Okay, exactly. Please focus again, Noura.
In addition, the animals were spread out along 38 kilometers of coast, whereas it's more common for the animals to be found in a group when mass strandings occur.
Okay, so when mass stranding occurred, they are in a group, but they were not in a group, right? So correct answer is group. Okay, next they talk about group behavior and they say more strandings in the most dash species of whales. Most dash species of whales. Okay, so answer is going to be something related to the species of whales. Okay, let's see what kind of species of whales.
The final theory is related to group behavior and suggests that sea mammals cannot distinguish between sick and healthy leaders and will follow sick leaders even to an inevitable death. This is a particularly interesting theory, since the whales that are thought to be most social, the toothed whales, are the group that strand the most frequently.
Come on, come on. Correct answer is...
A final theory is related to group behavior and suggests that sea mammals cannot distinguish between sick and healthy leaders and will follow sick leaders even to an inevitable death. This is a particularly interesting theory, since the whales that are thought to be most social,
whales that are thought to be more social. So more stranding in the most social species of whales.
the toothed whales, are the
toothed whales, they are more social.
group that strand the most frequently.
That strand the most frequently. Okay, so it is social. Frequently is not the answer. Finally, two more questions. 1994, dolphin stranding. All right, dolphins also stranded. Only the dash was ill. So who was ill? Only the dash. Maybe one dolphin was ill. Huh? Who was ill?
The theory is also supported by evidence from a dolphin stranding in 1994. Examination of the dead animals revealed that, apart from the leader, all the others had been healthy at the time of their death.
Okay, apart from leader, all the other were healthy at the time of their death. So only the leader was ill. Apart from their leader, all the dolphins were healthy. It means only the leader was ill. Okay, correct answer is leader. All right, now we get going further reading. Now, what is further reading? Marine mammals ashore gives information about stranding dash. Stranding what? They give information about stranding something. Okay, please listen and answer.
I recommend John Connor's Marine Mammals Ashore as an excellent starting point if you're interested in finding out more about these networks or establishing one yourself.
Giving information about stranding. Aha, some of you missed it. Yes, exactly. It is network or networks.
I recommend John Connor's Marine Mammals Ashore as an excellent starting point if you're interested in finding out more about these networks.
If you are interested to finding out more about these networks, so gives information about stranding networks. Okay, that is the end of IELTS listening. I want you to practice at least 2 to 3 listening tests independently, following all the guidelines, and inshallah you will get your desired band in IELTS listening. Now, shall we move on? This time we are going to start with the most challenging module in IELTS, and that is reading module. Okay, I know reading is difficult. There are 3 passages of reading. Now, what am I going to do? I will give you practical tips and techniques to solve a reading test while solving the test as well. Okay, first we are going to solve reading passage 1, and I will tell you what are type A questions, what are type B questions. Okay, and we are going to solve complete reading test. Let's start with reading passage 1. Let's see out of 13 how many of your answers are correct. Okay, and you know, passage is labeled. When the passage is labeled, we have a type of questions that is called which paragraph contains the following information. And for this type of questions and the passage they are not in order. Okay, so you can see we have 6 questions, and these 6 questions need 6 rounds of the passage. It's a good idea to read the questions for which section contains the following information and do them last, because if you start with it, for example, you pick up this question, you have to go through all the passage for one answer. So an account means story or mention of national policy initiative. So we keep in mind story of national policy. A description, details of global team effort. So we keep in mind international team, global team, and all that. A hypothesis as to one reason behind the growth in classroom noise. So hypothesis for one reason, they will mention a reason behind the growth in classroom noise, like why there is too much noise in the classroom, what is that reason. A demand for suitable worldwide regulations. Worldwide regulations means international laws. Okay, a list of medical conditions. List means first, second, third, last, or comma. A list of medical conditions which place some children more at risk from noise than others. So they may tell us some diseases or medical conditions and all that. The estimated proportion of children in New Zealand with auditory problem. So proportion means percentage, number, and all that. And New Zealand with auditory problems. Auditory is related to hearing. Okay, now we've read that, and we come to questions 7 to 10, and that is answer the questions below. Choose no more than 2 words. No more than means maximum. Maximum 2 words, minimum 1 word, and or a number. No more than 2 words and or a number. Okay, so just like that. Now write your answers in boxes. So for what period of time has hearing loss in school children, okay, been studied in New Zealand? Answer is going to be a number. For what period of time? So answer is period of time. Let's see, we come back and we are looking for period of time, right? Now they say here, we start from this paragraph, okay? So they say we're looking for period of time. They say other auditory function deficit in young children can have a major impact. No period of time is mentioned. This is likely to have a major consequences for the individual and the population as a whole. The New Zealand Ministry of Health has found from research carried out. Wow, wow, answer is gonna be here. Research carried out over 2 decades that 6 to 10% of children in that country are affected by hearing loss. Now tell me, what is the answer? We are going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. They have given us the proportion as well. 6 to 10% children, that is the proportion. Okay, so question number 7, correct answer is 2 decades. So you're just going to write 2 decades. The way it is written, yes, you can write 2 decades differently also. You can write 2 as a number also if you want to. Even then your answer is correct. Now, have you noticed one thing? They said 6 to 10% children in that country is New Zealand, are affected by hearing loss. And they have mentioned estimated proportion of children in New Zealand with auditory problems. Auditory problem is hearing loss. Proportion of children is 6 to 10%. Okay, so this is given in paragraph A. Question number 6, correct answer is A. So we've answered 2 questions. It just happened because we read the questions already. That is why. Okay, let's get going. Question number 8. In addition to machinery noise, okay, we are going to see where do they talk about machinery noise, because wherever we have machinery noise, we will find our answer there. Okay, so our clue word is machinery noise, and we have to see where do they talk about it. What other type of noise can upset children with autism? Now we need to find autism and machinery noise. Autism and machinery noise. Ah, autism is here. Okay, so what kind of noise can upset children? Let's see. Autism is considered a neurological and genetical lifelong disorder that causes discrepancies in the way information is processed. This disorder is characterized by interlinking problems with social imagination, communication, and interaction. According to Jensen, this affects the ability to understand, okay, understand and relate typical ways people understand events, objects, environment, and all that. Okay, we need to go on. There isn't anything like machinery. Then they say autistic spectrum disorders often result in major difficulties in comprehending. All right, here we are. Okay, now we read from here. Those experiencing these disorders often find sounds such as crowd noise and the noise generated by machinery. Now tell me, what is the answer? And noise generated by machinery. Machinery is already mentioned. So what is the answer? Absolutely. Well done, guys. Correct answer for that is crowd noise, right, or only crowd. Both answers are correct. Farwa, your answer is correct as well. You may write crowd noise or you may write only crowd, but only noise will be the wrong answer. As I said, machinery noise, So what other noise? It's crowd. Okay, crowd noise or crowd, both are correct answers. Okay, that's lovely. We found it. Now we need to read on. Questions and answers are in order, but there was a huge gap. What term is used? Let me tell you, whenever they talk about any terminology, terminologies are in inverted commas. Keep that in mind. What term is used to describe the hearing problems of school children which have not been diagnosed? So hearing problems, school children, and terminology. Now we are going to look for inverted commas. Let's go on. Inverted commas. Inverted commas. Okay. Here we are. I told you whenever they use the word term, terminology, and all that. So what term is used? It is probable that many undiagnosed children, undiagnosed means have not been diagnosed, exist in education system with invisible disabilities. So what term is used? That term is invisible disabilities. Okay, so correct answer is invisible. Okay, or you may write invisible disabilities because term is invisible. This is the term. So you may write disabilities as well because it is no more than 2 words. So invisible or invisible disabilities, both are correct. Okay, that's lovely. So far so good. Let's get going. What part of the New Zealand disability strategy? Okay, they have New Zealand disability strategy. What part of that aims to give school children equal opportunity? So which part of New Zealand disability strategy? Now here we are. New Zealand government, now New Zealand disability strategy. So we need to see which part gives this opportunity. Okay, so we go on from here. Has embarked on a wide-ranging consultation process. The strategy recognizes that people experiencing disability face significant barriers in achieving a full quality of life in the areas such as attitude, education, employment, and access to services. Okay. Objective 3 of the New Zealand disability strategy is to provide the best education for disabled people. All right. So what part of the New Zealand disability strategy aim to give school children equal opportunity by improving education so that all children, see that youth learners, adult learners will have, okay, the same thing. So which part of this? They said objective 3. Objective 3 of the New Zealand disability strategy is to provide, and then they say will have equal opportunities to learn. So which part is that? That part is objective 3. Exactly. Objective 3 is the part. No, Shumaila, it's not disabled people. They said which part of New Zealand disability strategy? And they said objective 3 of New Zealand disability strategy. That is the part. And then they use the word equal opportunities to learn, right? School children and equal opportunities. So correct answer is objective 3. All right. Now we've got questions 11 to 12, and then there are some multiple choice questions as well. And then we'll go back to other questions. Okay. By the way, doesn't it ring the bell here? They said the New Zealand government has developed a New Zealand disability strategy. So that strategy is like a government policy. So please tell me which question. 1, 2, 3, 4. New Zealand government has developed the new New Zealand disability strategy. Well done. It is question number 1, an account of a national policy initiative And what is that national policy? That policy is New Zealand Disability Strategy. And this is the account of that, the story of that. Okay. Good job, guys. Question number 1, correct answer is H. Okay, not bad, huh? We have answered 2 questions from here. Now we proceed. Questions 11 and 12. Okay. And they say choose 2 letters A to F. It's called double multiple choice question, where out of 5 options, you will have to select 2. So, which 2 are mentioned by the writer of the passage? The list below includes factors contributing to classroom noise. Now we need to find a paragraph which is about factors contributing to classroom noise. Okay, factors contributing to classroom noise. We read about noise. Okay, classroom noise is mentioned here. So what are the factors? A preliminary study in the New Zealand has shown that classroom noise presents a major concern for teachers and pupils. Okay. Now, what are the factors? We need to find the factors contributing to classroom noise. Okay. So let's see. Modern teaching practices, the organization of desks in the classroom, poor classroom acoustics. These are the factors. Modern teaching practice is one factor. Organization of desks in the classroom is another factor. Poor classroom acoustics, sounds, and mechanical means of ventilation, like exhaust fan is on, like that, such as air conditioning units, all contribute to the number of children unable to comprehend. Now, please tell me which 5. Come on, you tell me. A, B, C, D, E, F. Which 2 are the right answers? So the first correct answer is current teaching methods. And they said modern teaching practices. So first correct answer is option A. Okay, that's lovely. Then they mentioned echoing corridors. They didn't mention echoing corridors, right? Cooling systems, absolutely, because they mentioned here air conditioning units. Air conditioning units, that is the second correct answer. Large size classes, not mentioned. Loud voice teachers, not mentioned. Playground games, not mentioned. So correct answers are options A and C. Cooling system, for that we have air conditioning units. Current teaching methods, for that we have modern teaching practices. Okay, see that we found 2 answers in 1 paragraph. Now we do this. Choose the correct letter A, B, C, or D. What is the writer's overall purpose in writing this article? Okay, now you don't need to read, you're already familiar. There is this article about hearing aid and policies, government, what government is doing, and all that. Now, please tell me which option, according to you, is the right one. 3 options will cover small portion of the passage. Those options are not the right answer. But 1 option will cover all the passage. That should be the right answer. Asma Altaf, you nailed it. Well done. Good, Sachin. Come on, guys. Do tell me. So, option A, to compare different methods of dealing with auditory problems. No. Whole passage is not about the comparison of different methods. Option B, to provide solution for overly noisy learning environment. They talked about noise and all that, but there is nothing like solution. To increase awareness of the situation of children with auditory problems. Absolutely. The whole passage is about increasing the awareness about it. Okay. And option D, to promote New Zealand as a model for other countries to follow. Never. So correct answer is to increase awareness of the situation of children with auditory problems. C is the right answer for that. Now we come back to questions 1, 2, 3, 4. This test is a bit unusual, okay? We have 3 to 4 types of questions here. Okay, now let's get going. We have question number 2, a description of global team effort. So we start from paragraph A and we see where do they talk about international. For global and for team, they use the word team, group, party, and all that. Team, group, party, international, team, group, party, international. All right. Okay, let's see. Here we are. See that? International Working Party. So what do they say? An account of national, now this, a description of a global team effort. They say the International Institute of Noise Control Engineering, on the advice of World Health Organization, has established an international working party. Good. See that word means international, right? So question number 2, correct answer is C. One reason behind the growth in classroom noise. One reason. We need to find the reason. Again, we start from the beginning. Okay, so reason. Guys, they gave us the reasons here. Modern teaching practices, right? Answer is here. One reason. Where is that? Yeah. A hypothesis of one reason behind the growth of classroom noise. So we've got the noise here. Okay, here we have the reason. Education researcher Nelson and Solly have suggested that recent trends in learning often involve collaborative interaction of multiple minds and tools as much as individual possession of information. This all amounts to heightened activity and noise levels, which have the potential to be particularly serious for children. Okay, so exactly, this is the hypothesis as to one reason behind the growth in classroom noise, right? They said this all amounts to heightened activity and noise levels, which have the potential to be particularly serious for children experiencing auditory function deficit. So question number 3, paragraph B is the right answer. Okay, a demand for suitable worldwide regulation. Now we need to see where do they talk about demand. And you know, such type of demands come in conclusion. They say countries of the world should make a law or anything like that. This is something we say conclusive part of the passage. So we jump to conclusion. Whenever you see anything like this, you need to jump to conclusion. Paragraph I. A number of countries, see that, worldwide, are already in the process of formulating their own standards. Own standards means regulations. Number of countries means worldwide, for the control and reduction of classroom noise. Okay. So a demand for suitable worldwide regulations, a number of countries are already in the process. It means there is the demand. That is why a number of countries are in the process. Okay. Yeah, it is imperative that the needs of these children are taken into account. So it is also for demand, right? Question number 4, correct answer is I. That's good. Now 6 is answered, 5 is left. List of medical conditions. Now we need to find some medical conditions, right? So we see what are the medical conditions. Again, we start from A. I told you medical conditions are like diseases or, as they mentioned, autism and other things. B, we already read. C, no, it's about World Health Organization. So, those with a disability that affects their processing of speech and verbal communication could be extremely vulnerable. No. The auditory function deficits in questions include. Wow, that is here. Include. What does it mean? A list of medical conditions. I told you that you need to find either comma or full stop. So they say here, impairment. So what is that? Include hearing impairment, that is first medical condition. Autistic spectrum disorders, that is second medical condition. And attention deficit disorder, that is third medical condition. Okay, so they said a list of medical conditions. That list of medical conditions is here. So question number 5, correct answer is D. Let me tell you, this was pretty unusual, huh? Otherwise, in reading part 1, we have sentence completion and true false not given. But anyways, don't worry. I am with you and we will do it all together. All right, welcome back. This is just the beginning, okay? So reading passage 1 is somewhat like this. And most common question types are sentence completion, true, false, not given, and all that. Now we move on to reading passage 2. It's going to be a little more complicated than reading passage 1. But don't worry, the way we solved passage 1, we are going to solve passage 2. Let's start. Venus in transit. So it means the whole thing is about Venus and its transition. Questions 14 to 17. Which paragraph contains the following information? My goodness, this test is gonna be difficult, okay? Whenever the passage is labeled, keep in mind test is going to have which paragraph contains the following information and list of headings. So we've got this, write the correct letter. All right, fine. What else do we have? 18 to 21. Look at the following statements and the list of people. This is called matching. Usually we get it in part 3, but now we have it in part 2. Match each statement with the correct person, A, B, C, or D. Okay, these are the statements and these are people. And finally, questions 22 to 26, true, false, not given. So where should we start from? We should read the questions of which paragraph contains the following information, and then we can start from true, false, not given. Now they say examples of different ways in which the parallax principle has been applied. Examples, plural. Again, they can be comma, comma, and first of all, secondly, finally, and all that. So examples of different ways and parallax principle. A description of an event which prevented a transit observation, a story of an event which stopped a transit observation, okay? A statement about potential future discoveries. All right, such statements usually come towards the end of the paragraph. Well, guys, always remember future comes in the last part of the paragraph. So a statement about potential future. Let's try whether I'm right or wrong. This is the last paragraph. By June 2004, transit of Venus was thus more of an astronomical spectacle than a scientifically important event. But such transits have paved the way for what might prove to be one of the most vital breakthroughs in the cosmos detecting Earth-sized planets orbiting. So such transits have paved the way for what might prove to be. Paved the way for what might prove to be. It means that is going to be future. It has paved the way for future. So that is potential future. And where is the word for future? Such transits have paved the way for what might prove. Might prove means in the future to be one of the most vital breakthroughs in cosmos detecting and all that. So always remember, whenever they talk about future, it is in the last paragraph. Okay? Yeah, this is my experience. I've seen it in many tests. A description of physical states. Okay, connected with Venus. So physical states connected with Venus, which early astronomical instruments failed to overcome. So instruments failed to overcome, and description of physical states. Now we've read them, so we come back to this one. true, false, not given. Let me tell you, this test is highly complicated. Okay, keep that in mind. Yes, it is. And thank God we are solving it, right? Why easy test? We should solve difficult test. Now, Halley observed one transit of planet Venus. If Halley observed one transit, answer is true. If Halley observed many transits, answer is false. And if they don't tell us whether Halley observed 1, 2, 3, 4, then it is not given. Now we start from the beginning, right? So here we are, Halley, helicopter. Okay. All right, let's see. Halley is here. Halley or Halley? Edmund Halley. All right, Edmund Halley is here. Now we see 1, 2, or more. And you can put it all down to the extraordinary polymath Edmund Halley. Okay, in November 1677, Halley observed a transit of the innermost planet Mercury from the desolate island of St. Helena in the South Pacific. Okay, he realized that from different latitudes, the passage of the planet across the sun's disk would be this. Okay, by timing the transit from two widely separated locations. Okay, two separated locations. So now let's see. They say here, okay, Halley observed one transit of the planet Venus. Now read carefully. Was it Venus? Halley observed a transit of the innermost planet Mercury. Was it Venus? No, it was Mercury. So what is the answer? Well done. Correct answer is false, because it was not Venus, it was Mercury. Okay, so for this, correct answer is false. Okay, that's good. Le Gentil, or the Gentle, managed to observe a second Venus transit. Now, Le Gentil, we need to see where is Le Gentle, right? Where we have Le Gentle, we can find the answer. Parallax is here, guys. Parallax angle. Which paragraph? Paragraph C. And we had something about parallax. Okay, where we had something about parallax? That's the other one. All right, all right, all right. Okay, let's answer this question, then we'll come back. Okay. So Le Gentil, we need to find where is Le Gentil. Le Gentil. Okay, astronomers, Halley is here again. Aha, French. Yeah, Gentil, name suggests he's French. So here we are. Now let's see. Gentil managed to observe a second Venus transit. If he saw second, answer is true and all that. So let's just continue from here. He was thwarted by the fact that British were besieging his observation site and all that. Fleeing on a French warship crossing the Indian Ocean, Gentil saw a wonderful, okay, Gentil saw a wonderful transit, right? That's fine. Now, second or not, but the ship's pitching and rolling ruled out any attempt of making accurate observations. Undaunted, he remained south of the equator and all that. Okay, Madagascar, before setting off to observe the next transit in Philippines. Okay, so the next transit, come on. Next, what does next means? Next means second. Okay, but we have to see he saw it or not. Let's see. Ironically, after traveling nearly 50,000 kilometers, his view was clouded out at the last moment. Okay, so did he observe second? No, because his view was clouded out at the last moment. View was clouded out means there were clouds and he could not see. So did he observe a second Venus transit? No, because his view was clouded out. So question number 23, correct answer is false. What a technical test. Okay, please be with me, don't leave me, because without reading you will not get good bench score. The shape of Venus or Venice appears distorted when it starts to pass in front of the sun. Now we need to see where do they mention sun and all that. And for true, false not given, you need to read on and you'll find the next answer. So sun is here. Okay, now you're going to read. The shape of Venus appears distorted when it starts to pass in front of the sun. While the early transit timing were precise as instruments would allow. Okay, instruments would allow. Hey guys, instruments were mentioned somewhere. Just a second. Question number 17. A description of physical states connected with Venus, which early astronomical instruments failed to overcome. Okay. While the early transit timings were precise, instruments would allow, the measurements were dodged by the black drop effect. Okay. So, question number 17. A description of physical state connected with Venus with early astronomical instrument failed to overcome. So they say here, while the early transit timings were as precise as instruments would allow, the measurements were dodged by the black drop effect. When Venus begins to cross the sun's disk, it looks smeared, not circular. Wow, it looks smeared, not circular. So we are answering two questions, which makes it difficult to establish timing. That's it. So question number 17, correct answer is E. Wow, that's lovely. And now we come back to our question. The shape of Venus appears distorted, and they mentioned here, when Venus begins to cross the sun's disk, it looks smeared, not circular. Distorted, smeared. Now tell me what is the answer. It looks smeared, not circular. When it is smeared, it means it is distorted. So what is the answer? Come on, type your answers, guys. Well done. Correct answer is true. Okay. All right. Now let's get going. Next, they say early astronomers suspected that the atmosphere on Venus was toxic. Now, if early astronomers suspected the atmosphere on Venus was toxic, answer is true. If they did not expect that, answer is false. Otherwise, not given. So the same paragraph. Here we have astronomers. So while this showed astronomers that Venus was surrounded by a thick layer of gases refracting sunlight around it, both effects made it impossible to obtain accurate timing. Have they mentioned anything? Early astronomers suspected that the atmosphere on Venus was toxic. They said surrounded by gases, but have they mentioned anything about the atmosphere on Venus? Not surrounded, on Venus. Exactly. Correct answer is not given. Well done. There is no mention of the atmosphere on Venus. Yes, they said it was surrounded by a thick layer of gases refracting sunlight around it. Okay, so question number 25, correct answer is not given. Okay, the parallax principle, we have parallax principle here. Okay, and let me tell you, we do have parallax principle here as well. Here, examples of different ways in which the parallax principle has been applied. Okay, so let's see. Here we are, we come back. Parallax principle allows astronomers to work out how far away distant stars are from the Earth. So parallax principle, let's come to this. All right, we have parallax principle measurements. So let's see if parallax principle allows them to do that. So what do they say here? But astronomers labored hard to analyze the results of these expeditions to observe Venus transits. John Franz Enek, director of Berlin Observatory, finally determined a value for the AU based on all these parallax measurements, and that is 153,340,000 kilometers. Okay, reasonably accurate for the time. Yeah, they're talking about measurements that is quite close to today's value, 149,597,000 kilometers. So parallax principle allows astronomers to work out how far away distant stars are from the earth. Yes, they mentioned 153,000, 149,000. So what is the answer? Come on guys, what is the answer? Well done. Correct answer is true. Okay, yes, that is true. Now we come back to a question here about parallax principle, and we see what does it say. He calculated the distance, absolutely, of the sun from earth based on observations, absolutely. So it's here. Finally determined a value for the AU based on all the parallax measurements and determined by radar, which has now superseded transits and all that. Absolutely. Question number 18. Correct answer is paragraph F. Sorry, it's not 18, it's 14. Sorry. Yeah. Examples of different ways in which the parallax principles has been applied. Hey, just a second. He calculated the distance. Who is the guy? John Franz Encke. John Franz Encke. Ah, lovely. We've answered another question, guys. Exactly. John Franz Encke. He calculated the distance. So that is option D. My goodness. You have to be very alert to do it like this. Okay, and we come back here. Parallax principle. Examples of different ways in which parallax principle was used. So let's get going. The parallax principle can be extended to measure the distances to the stars. Okay, this is one way. If we look at a star in January, when Earth is at one point in its orbit, it will seem to be in a different position from where it appears 6 months later. All right, one, and second, knowing the width of each Earth's orbit, parallax shifts lets astronomers calculate the distance. Okay, so examples of different ways. Now please follow me. One way is parallax principle can be extended to measure the distance to stars. That is one way. Second, to know the width of Earth's orbit. And third is astronomers calculate the distance. So question number 14, correct answer is F. I advise you to repeat this test and you'll get a lot from here. Okay, now we are left with question number 15 and we try and answer this. A description of an event which prevented a transit observation. Hey guys, doesn't it ring a bell that he went there, right? And yeah, exactly. Even they mentioned that he went somewhere, a description of an event. Just a second. I guess I read it somewhere. Ah, all right. Description of an event. Okay. This is the event. The person who deserves most sympathy is the French astronomer. He was thwarted by the fact that British were besieging his observation site at Pondicherry in India and fleeing on a French warship crossing the Indian Ocean. This is the description of an event. Leontil saw a wonderful transit. Event is transit. Description is French war crossing and all that. And rolling out any attempt at making accurate observations. Okay. This is that description. And he remained south of the equator, keeping himself busy by studying the island of Mauritius and Madagascar. And before setting off, the next observation, Philippines, and then the view was clouded out and all that. So question number 15, that description is mentioned in paragraph D. Okay, Now we are left with 3 questions, and this question type is write the correct letter, match each statement with the correct person. We have the list of people and we have to match these people with their statements. Okay, so we have 4 people and 5 questions. No, 4 questions. 4 people, 4 questions. Okay, not bad. So let's get started from the beginning. Here we are. First person, Edmund Halley. Now we see where is Edmund Halley and we will find the answer there. Yeah, Edmund Halley is here. So we need to find Edmund Halley's statement. Now let's see what the statements are. He understood that the distance of sun from the earth could be worked out by comparing observations of transit. Okay, he realized that the time taken by a planet to go round the sun depends on its distance from the sun. Okay, he witnessed a Venus transit but was unable to make any calculations. We know this. Let's find this one first. You know, he was on a ship and then unable to do that. Let's answer this one. He witnessed Venus transit but was unable to make any calculations. So we go on and we find this guy. Yeah, that guy is French astronomer, right? He witnessed, see that here, fleeing on a French warship crossing the Indian Ocean. Le Yontil saw means witnessed a wonderful transit, but the ship's pitching and rolling ruled out any attempt at making accurate observations. Which guy is it? Le Yontil. Le Yontil is here. Okay, so correct answer for this question is option C. Now we are left with 19 and 20. Okay, we can do that now. So the first guy, Edmund, we come back. Here we are. Edmund is here. Edmund Halley. Now we need to see where do we have his statement. Edmund Halley, we read this part, so we need to read ahead. Halley is mentioned here as well. So let's read it from here. Halley was aware that the AU was one of the most fundamental of all astronomical measurements. Halley was aware. Halley was aware. He realized. See that? Halley was aware. Aware means he realized what? The time taken by a planet to go round the sun depends on its distance. So let's see. What does he say? Johannes Kepler in the early 17th century had shown that the distance of the planets from the sun governed their orbital speeds, which were easily measurable, but no one had found a way to calculate accurate distance to the planets from the earth. Okay, so Halley was aware that the AU was one of the most fundamental of all astronomical instruments, and Johannes Kepler in the early 17th century had shown that the distance and all that. So this is said by Halley, and we've got this Johannes Kepler, but Johannes Kepler, we don't have his statement. In the early 17th century, he had shown, he had proved it, that the distance of the planets from this and all that. So for question number 20, correct answer is Johannes Kepler, because he said that. Okay, all right, this is confusing. See that? It just changed it. Johannes Kepler in the early 17th century had shown that the distance and all that. So question number 20, correct answer is B, that is Johannes Kepler. Now what are we left with? He understood that the distance of the sun from the earth could be worked out by comparing observations of transit. So let's see, where do they mention that? He understood. Again, one of these guys. And by the way, this list of people is in order. Okay, yeah, this list of people is in order. So he understood. Let's start from the beginning. And the first guy that we have here is Edmund Halley. Edmund Halley. In November, he observed a transit. He realized that from different latitudes, the passage of the planet across the sun's disk would appear to differ by timing the transit from two widely separated locations, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Calculating this angle would allow astronomers to measure what was then the ultimate goal, the distance of the Earth from the Sun. This distance is known as astronomical unit. Okay, so calculating this angle would allow astronomers to measure what was then the ultimate goal. So he understood the distance of the sun from the earth could be worked out by comparing observations. Where are comparing observations? Calculating this angle would allow astronomers, exactly. And this is said by who? This is said by Edmund Halley. Okay, so question number 19, Edmund Halley is the right answer. Ah, my goodness, what a typical difficult test. Okay, passage 2 is over, but don't worry, the tips, techniques, methodology that is going to go along with you. Finally, we have reading passage 3, the toughest one. But again, don't worry, I am with you. I will tell you each and everything, and you're gonna be perfectly all right. So without any further ado, let's get started with reading passage 3. A neuroscientist reveals how to think differently. So this passage is written by a neuroscientist who has proved how to think differently. Next we have questions 27 to 31. Choose the correct letter A, B, C, D. We call it multiple choice questions. Next questions 32 to 37. Yes, no, not given. And questions 38 to 40. Complete each sentence with the correct ending A to E below. This is called sentence completion. Now, by the way, passage is not labeled A, B, C, D. So you will find all the questions and answers in order. So let's start with multiple choice questions here. Okay, guys, neuroeconomics is a field of study which seeks to. Now we need to see where is neuroeconomics. Here we are. Neuroeconomics is here. So it is a field. What does it do? These discoveries have led to the field known as neuroeconomics. Now answer is here. Which studies the brain's secrets to success in an economic environment that demands innovation and being able to do things differently from competitors. Match something with it. A, B, C, D. I'll give you a minute for that. So seeks to what? Cause a change in how scientists understand brain. That is option A. Or seeks to understand how good decisions are made. They didn't mention any decisions, okay? Odd one out. Or seeks to understand how the brain is linked to achievement in competitive fields. My goodness. From competitors, right? So which studies the brain's secrets to success in an economic environment that demands innovation and being able to do things differently from competitors. That is neuroeconomics is a field of study which seeks to understand how the brain is linked to achievement. For that they use the word success, secrets to success in competitive field. C is the right answer for that. Trace the specific firing patterns? No. According to the writer, iconoclasts are distinctive because. Now, why are iconoclasts distinctive? Now, if you don't know the meaning of iconoclasts, don't worry at all. We'll find it. Okay, so here we are. This definition implies that iconoclasts are different from other people. And what is that? Briefly, an iconoclast is a person who does something that others say cannot be done. All right, guys, we are doing IELTS reading. Other people say it cannot be done, so we are iconoclasts. Okay? Exactly. Right? Now we understand. IELTS reading will teach you reading. Iconoclast is a person who does something that others say cannot be done. All right. So according to the writer, iconoclasts are distinctive. Why are they distinctive? This definition implies that iconoclasts are different. Different means distinctive, right? From other people, but more precisely, it is their brains that are different in three distinctive ways. So their brains are different. Please tell me A, B, C, D. Their brains are different in three distinct ways. And those ways are perception, fear response, and social intelligence. So correct answer is option B. Their brains function differently. Their brains function differently means brains that are different. Correct answer is B. What is A? They create unusual brain circuits? No. Their personalities are distinctive? No. They make decisions easily? Not at all. Now, question number 29. According to the writer, okay, the brain works efficiently because. Now we need to see where does the writer say brain works efficiently because. Okay, brain suffers from limited resources. Okay, the brain works efficiently because it has a fixed energy budget, but the same as 40-watt light bulb. So it has evolved to work as efficiently as possible. Okay, now let's go on. Still, we are not clear. This is where most people are impeded from being an iconoclast. For example, when confronted with information streaming from the eyes, the brain will interpret this information in the quickest way possible. Okay, thus it will draw on both past experiences. It will draw on both past experience and any other source of information, such as what other people say to make sense of what it is seeing. So, which option? The brain works efficiently because it will draw on both past experience and other source of information, such as what other people say. Past events. Past events are previous events. It uses eyes quickly? No. It interprets data logically? No. Exactly, Shumaila, that's right. It generates its own energy? No. It relies on previous events. So, what is that? Okay, it relies on previous events. So they say, thus it will draw on both past experience. Past experience means a previous event. It will draw on both. Draw on means rely on. Okay, the writer says perception is what? Now we need to go on and we see where is perception. Here we are. I saw it. Now writer says perception is not simply a product of what your eyes or ears transmit to your brain. More than physical reality of photons or sound waves, perception is a product of brain. Okay, focus. Perception is a product of brain. Which option? A, B, C, D. A product of brain means a result of brain processes. Good job. Perception is a product of brain means a result of brain processes. Product of brain, product means result. Of brain means brain processes. So correct answer is C. Part 3 is not as confusing as other parts, luckily. Question number 31. According to the writer, an iconoclastic thinker Now we need to see where is iconoclastic thinker, and according to the writer, what does writers say about iconoclastic thinker? So we need to go on and we have to see where do they talk about iconoclastic thinker. Let me increase. So what's the question? According to the writer, an iconoclastic thinker. This makes it too common to be considered a mental disorder. Okay. It is simply a common variant of human nature, one which iconoclasts do not let inhibit their reactions. Okay. So they do not let inhibit means they avoid, right? We need to go on and they say there are many types of fear, but the two that inhibit iconoclastic thinking. Here we are. Two fears. Please follow it from here. And people generally find difficult to deal with are fear of uncertainty and fear of public ridicule. Okay. Now these means these two fears may seem like trivial phobias, but fear of public speaking, which everyone must do from time to time, afflicts 1/3 of population. This makes it too common to be considered a mental disorder. It is simply a common variant of human nature, one which iconoclasts do not let inhibit. These two fears, iconoclasts do not let inhibit. Now tell me which option, A, B, C, D. Do not let means avoid. And these are cognitive traps. For cognitive traps, he used the word fear of public speaking, fear of public ridicule, fear of uncertainty. These are cognitive traps. And iconoclasts, right, they do not let inhibit their reactions. Okay, so correct answer is B. Well done. Centralized perceptual thinking? No. Has a brain that is hardwired? No. Has more opportunities than the average person? No, not that. Questions 32 to 37. Yes, no, not given. So, exposure to different events, all right, forces the brain to think differently. Exposure to different events forces the brain to think differently. All right, so let's see where we read about past experiences or anything like that. Use the word different, different, different. Okay, differently. So let's try this paragraph. Exposure to different events forces the brain to think differently, right? Let's see. The best way to see things differently to other people is to bombard the brain with things it has never encountered before. Novelty releases the perceptual process from the chains of past experience and forces the brain to make new judgments. So exposure to different events force the brain to think differently. Novelty releases the perceptual process from the chains of past experience and forces the brain to think differently, means to make new judgments. What is the answer? Good. Correct answer is yes. Well done. Exposure to different events. Novelty releases the perceptual process from the chains of past experiences, right? And forces the brain to think differently and forces the brain to make new judgments. New judgments means think differently. Question number 32, correct answer is yes. Iconoclasts are unusually receptive to new experiences. Now, if they are unusually receptive, they receive new experiences, answer is true, otherwise false or not given. Successful iconoclasts have an extraordinary willingness to be exposed to what is fresh and different. Now tell me, fresh and different means new experiences. Successful iconoclasts have an extraordinary willingness. Extraordinary willingness means unusually receptive. Well done, guys. So, correct answer for question number 33 is, and where is the answer? Answer is here. Successful iconoclasts have an extraordinary willingness. Okay. Question number 34. Most people are too shy to try different things. Now, if most people are too shy to try different things, answer is true, otherwise false or not given. And to me, it sounds it sounds not given. Okay. Observation of iconoclasts show that they embrace novelty while most people avoid things that are different. Now, have they mentioned anything? Most people are too shy to try different things. Have they mentioned too shy? So what is the answer? Too shy or not too shy is not mentioned. That is why for question number 34, correct answer is not given. Okay. It is not given, Asima. It's not no. If you think in an iconoclastic way, all right, you can easily overcome fear, right? So if you think in an iconoclastic way, you can overcome fear. Fear is here. So the problem with novelty, however, is that it tends to trigger the brain's fear system. Fear is a major impediment of thinking, like an iconoclast, and stops the average person in his tracks. Okay, they say fear is a major impediment to thinking like an iconoclast. So if you think in an iconoclast way, you can easily overcome fear. No, fear is a major impediment to thinking like an iconoclast. And they say there are many types of fears, but the two that inhabit iconoclastic thinking and people generally find it difficult to deal with: fear of uncertainty and fear of public speaking. So you can easily overcome fear. No, fear is the part of it. So question number 35, correct answer is no. If you think in an iconoclastic way, you can easily overcome fear. No, fear is a major impediment to thinking like an iconoclast and stops the average person in his tracks. So stops the average person in his tracks. All right, question number 36. When concern about embarrassment matters less, when concern about embarrassment matters less, other fears become irrelevant. So let's see if they mention anything. Other fears become irrelevant. These may seem like trivial phobias, but fear of public speaking, which everyone must do from time to time, afflicts 1/3 of population. Let's make it too common to be considered a mental disorder. So when concern about embarrassment matters less, other fears become irrelevant. There is no mention of embarrassment matters less. So what is the answer, guys? Embarrassment matters less. Exactly, it is not given. They did not mention embarrassment matters less or more. So correct answer is not given. Okay, yeah. All right, question number 37. Fear of public speaking is a psychological illness. They mentioned it. These may seem like trivial phobias, but fear of public speaking, which everyone must do from time to time, afflicts 1/3 of the population. This makes it too common to be considered a mental disorder. So, too common to consider a mental disorder. Fear of public speaking is a psychological illness. It is simply a common variant of human nature. Okay? It is not a psychological illness, guys. Read all. This makes it too common to be considered a mental disorder, but it is simply a common variant of human nature. It is not a psychological illness. It is variant of human nature. Okay, so answer is no. Yeah, if you read until here, this makes it too common to be considered mental disorder. For fear of public speaking is a Psychological illness. Yes, yes. But when you read on, it is simply a common variant of human nature. So it's not psychological illness, it's a common variant of human nature. Question number 37, answer is no. Oh, my goodness. Now, finally, sentence completion. These are the parts of sentences. Half part is in the question, half part is in the options. Write the correct letter A to E in boxes 38 to 40. Thinking like a successful iconoclast is demanding because it. So, why is it demanding? Because it. So what is it that it does that it becomes demanding for us? So let's see. Thinking like an iconoclast and all that. Here we are. Finally. To be, and you know, this paragraph was empty. Okay, the last two paragraphs empty. Finally, to be successful iconoclast, which individual must sell their ideas to other people. Okay, now they say it is demanding because this is where social intelligence comes in. Social intelligence is the ability to understand and manage people in a business setting. Okay, now they say in the last decade there has been an explosion of knowledge about the social brain and how the brain works when groups coordinate decision making. Okay, let's consider this. Next, they say neuroscience has revealed which brain circuit. Now, that is different now. So, answer should be here. Thinking like a successful iconoclast is demanding. Why is it demanding? Because they say in the last decade there has been an explosion of knowledge about the social brain and how the brain works when groups coordinate decision making. Now, please match something with it. A, B, C, D. Explosion of knowledge that is perceptual. And then they talk about social brain and how the brain works. That is social intelligence. So, which option? Just remove the odd ones and you'll find it. Well done, guys. Correct answer is option A. It requires both perceptual and social intelligence skills. Okay, and they mentioned it here. Finally, to be successful iconoclast, individual must sell their ideas to other people. This is where social intelligence comes in. So social intelligence is here. Social intelligence is the ability to understand and manage people in business setting, right? Social intelligence is here. And then they talk about perceptual. That is, in the last decade has been an explosion of knowledge, right? And all that. Okay, for perceptual, they mentioned here, neuroscience has revealed which brain circuits are responsible for functions like understanding what other people think, empathy, fairness. These brain regions play role whether, perception is important in social cognition too. My goodness. One answer, perception is here and social skill is here. Okay, A is the right answer anyways. The concept of the social brain is useful to iconoclasts because it is. Now, why the concept of social brain is useful for iconoclasts? What is the reason? Social brain. Okay, we read about social brain here. So they say social intelligence is the ability to understand and manage people in business settings. Concept of social brain is useful to iconoclasts because in the last decade there has been an explosion of knowledge about the social brain and how the brain works when groups coordinate decision making. Okay, so let's see if we reach somewhere with this information. Concept of social brain is useful to iconoclasts because it is. Social brain is. Focus this. Social intelligence is the ability to understand and manage people in a business setting. Okay, come on. 39. Correct answer is what? All right. They say here concept of social brain is useful to iconoclasts because it focuses on how groups decide on an action. How groups decide on an action means how they make decisions. So here we are. Social decision making shows why successful iconoclasts are so rare. And then they mention here ability to understand, manage people in a business setting. And where is decision? Yeah, this one, decision making is here. In the last decade, there has been an explosion of knowledge about the social brain and how brain works when groups coordinate decision making. When groups coordinate decision making means focuses on how groups decide on decisions. Groups decide on decisions and groups coordinate decision making. So question number 39, correct answer is B. Well done. Wow, what a thing. A, B, C. Iconoclasts are generally an asset because their way of thinking. So they are an asset. They are an asset. Here, they mention iconoclasts create new opportunities in every area of artistic expression to technology to business. Okay. They supply creativity and innovation not easily accomplished by committees. Right? So they are an asset because they create new opportunities in every area from artistic expression to technology and all that. So please tell me which option. Focus this. Iconoclasts are an asset because they create new opportunities. Good job, guys. Correct answer is option C. Works in many fields, both artistic and scientific. Iconoclasts creates new opportunities in every area. Create new opportunities in every area means works in many fields. From artistic, both artistic and scientific. Scientific is technology. So question number 40, correct answer is C. See that? We are done with it. The first fast and the difficult test. I'm so sorry, but I advise you to repeat this test. You know, when you repeat the test, then you learn more and you understand things better and all that, right?
Okay,
Now,
guys,
finally,
thank you so very much. Now, I want you to practice at least 3 to 5 reading tests independently. Because once you're going to solve reading tests independently, all the tricks, techniques, tips, whatever you learned through the reading course, this is going to help you with your reading in actual exam as well. I wish you good luck with your IELTS reading. Now we proceed from here and we are going to discuss IELTS writing module, and very briefly I'm going to tell you about IELTS writing. Remember, in IELTS writing there are two tasks. One is writing task 1, which is report writing, and one is writing task 2, which is essay writing. The easiest way for you guys is to read and rewrite reports, to read and rewrite essays. There is a lot of flexibility. When we talk about writing, IELTS writing, you can have any format of essay writing. There is flexibility on number of paragraphs in body. For the same essay type, you may write 2 body paragraphs or you may write 4 body paragraphs. For report, you may write your report like introduction, body, conclusion, or introduction, overview, body. So there's a lot of flexibility. As long as you cover the topic, as long as your English is correct, you're going to get good bench score. So for essay writing, I would advise you to read the topic twice and discuss the topic in your heart with yourself and see what is included and what is excluded from the essay type. Then divide your answer in 3 parts. Number 1, introduction. For introduction, I advise you to write 3 sentences. A general sentence about the topic, paraphrase the topic, and your thesis sentence. That is your position on that very thing. Number 1. Number 2, body paragraphs. Now you can decide according to your layout of the essay. You may write minimum 2 body paragraphs and maximum 4 body paragraphs.
If it is an opinion essay, you can write 3 body paragraphs. If it is a discussion essay, you may write 2 body paragraphs, and there is a flexibility. And finally, conclusion. So read some sample answers and after that try to reproduce them. We have a book on IELTS writing. It's actually called IELTS Writing in Focus. In that book, we have sample answers. We have 8 units, 4 units cover writing task 1 and 4 units cover writing task 2. So this is how you can cover your writing. For report writing, it is more statistical, right? There is some statistical data, information. So I advise you to read some reports and write them. If you're planning to appear in paper delivered writing, then you need to write your answer on paper. If you're planning to appear in computer delivered writing, then you must type your answers so that you get familiar with the keyboard and the stuff like that. Okay, that's it. That's all about writing. And now I'm going to tell you about speaking. Okay guys, finally let's talk about IELTS speaking module. In IELTS speaking, there are 3 parts. Speaking part 1 is where examiner will ask you some general questions on familiar topics and you have to answer. After the basic questions like what's your name, where are you from, do you work or study, when they pick up a topic and ask you the questions, try to answer every question in 5 to 6 sentences. And your answer should have 3 parts: direct answer, elaborate your answer, conclude your answer. Like this you can answer direct answer, elaborate your answer and conclude your answer. In 5 sentences you can answer any question of IELTS speaking part 1. For IELTS speaking module, we have this book. I call it Examiner's Book of IELTS Speaking. This is a guest book. Your 70 to 80% speaking comes from this book. If you want to get the PDF or printed form, you can contact us and we'll give you all the details. In the book, we have 150 topics for speaking part 1, 150 cue cards, and these are the guest topics and you're highly likely to get one of them in your actual exam. In speaking part 2, examiner will give you a topic, 1 minute time to jot down some notes, and after 1 minute you will have to speak on the topic for 1 to 2 minutes, and these topics are always in description. Describe a place, describe a person, describe a mobile application, describe a city, blah blah blah. Okay, and they will give you pencil, paper, 1 minute time. You can easily do that. And finally, we have IELTS speaking part 3. In speaking part 3, examiner will ask you some follow-up questions and these follow-up questions are related to your cue card. Okay, so that's it. If you found this IELTS preparation course helpful, I want you to recommend this course to others. I want you to share this video with your other colleagues, friends who are planning to appear in IELTS exam, and do let them know about me and my work on IELTS. Okay, I also teach IELTS online all over the world, in campus in Lahore, Pakistan. I have a website on IELTS, asadyaqub.com. If you want to get any of these services, you can contact me and I'll give you all the details. Asad Yaqub wholeheartedly wishes you best of luck. Take care. Allah Hafiz.